Aries. Aries symbol. Today's energies are less than ideal for major decision-making, dear Aries, as it's a little too easy to miss or ignore essential details or nuances. Relationships or desires can be confusing, you may be on the fence about a matter, or you might only feel a little drained and divided in your focus. Try not to mislead others, even unintentionally, by way of body language or errors of omission, just because you don't have a clear answer. With a Mars-Neptune minor challenge today, you may be dealing with a slight letdown or disillusionment that leaves you feeling off your game temporarily. Still, it can be a good time to enjoy something creative and imaginative. Taurus. Taurus symbol. With today's Mars-Neptune minor challenging aspect, there can be some confusing signals or impulses to sort through, dear Taurus. You may not be able to connect with your natural ability to stick to monotonous jobs or tasks. If this is the case, it's an important signal from the cosmos that you require some time for recovery or that you need some refreshment. You may also feel let down by someone or too easily feel imposed upon, but it's temporary and perhaps a sign to take a break. You could be longing for more predictability on an emotional level and more variety on a mundane level. Gemini. Gemini symbol. With today's Mars-Neptune transit, dear Gemini, you may be dealing with frustrations or guilt and lack of direction that can be hard to pinpoint. Differences in style and tastes between you and a friend can seem more obvious and disruptive temporarily. Under these murky conditions, it may be best to avoid speculation, gambling, and anything that involves taking a considerable risk with money or your heart. Today favors imaginative activities that provide you with an escape or respite from the usual routine. As well, relationships tend to flow naturally as you communicate with your heart. You may be giving good advice or showing your support for others' beliefs and aspirations. Cancer. Cancer symbol. You are attracted to detail work, organizing, research, health pursuits, and generally getting to the bottom of things today, dear Cancer. Some listlessness is possible, however, until you redirect your energies or find your inspiration. Emotions can impact physical strength, whether up or down. It's a time when unrealistic expectations are glaring, and you might want to watch that they don't lead you down the wrong road. Some questioning of your goals or direction may be in order, and adjustments can be made that boost your motivation. Start with little changes at the beginning, and allow yourself time to come to a better understanding of what you truly want. Leo. The creative flow is easy today, dear Leo, and it's likely through your interactions with others that you find the most inspiration. Still, with a Mars-Neptune transit, it's best to avoid making snap decisions. You might receive confusing or incomplete information or otherwise have difficulty discerning between fact and fancy. Finding a middle ground is the key, but it can be difficult if it seems all of the energy you've been harnessing seems to have evaporated, and you feel sluggish. It's temporary, and you may need to let go of the expectation that others are clear just for the time being. Conversations today may not be straightforward, and you might also be inclined to skirt an issue. Take a time out from overthinking. If you can't decide who or what to believe, try letting it go for now. Still, much of the day is very strong for creative expression. Virgo. Your intuitive sense for business, family, and health strategies that focus on improvement is well developed today, dear Virgo. You might stumble upon helpful ideas and methods to boost comfort in your home or develop healthier routines and habits. Still, there could be complex interactions that baffle you today with a Mars-Neptune aspect. You may be dealing with some ambiguity or uncertainty surrounding relationship and money matters, which can lead to some listlessness. Waning motivation is probably temporary and possibly the universe's way of getting you to slow down and engage your imagination. In fact, this can be a strong time for dreaming up something imaginative to do with your mind, projects, or studies. The only caution here is to wait before jumping in. If someone or a situation in your life is draining you of energy and spirit, it may be best to think about ways to manage this problem rather than jump into action. Libra. Your generous spirit is stimulated today, dear Libra, and others appreciate your viewpoint more than usual. Still, there can be confusing signals coming from others, or you could feel that your desires are met with ambivalence now. There can be pangs of discontent, or it may not be easy to get a handle on your daily routines. Sticking to schedules can be tricky, and if procrastination has become a habit recently, the matter can come to a head now. If you turn a blind eye to certain issues, guilt crops up in insidious ways. Still, there may be a message in all of this, and that could very well be that you need to make small changes in what you do or how you do it. Try to engage your creative imagination to visualize how to improve your life. Scorpio. Your spirit is in need of a bit of comfort and familiarity today, dear Scorpio, and you're drawn to healing activities that nourish the body and soul. With a Mars-Neptune aspect confusing things, however, it's best to wait for the fog to clear before making big moves. Mars is rather newly in your sign, revving you up, but today, you may not find it easy to define or connect with your desires. There's a tendency to look at your relationships through the eyes of wishful thinking. Watch for self-trickery in this manner. Or, you might temporarily lose motivation or interest in what you're doing, and it's time to think of ways to change your approach to enliven your life and enrich your imagination. Seek healthy ways to escape the routine. Sagittarius. There can be some excitement building regarding a communications project, dear Sagittarius, and there's a nice spirit of cooperation. Even so, people may be giving off confusing signals, or you may experience some ups and downs or confusion and indecision with today's Mars-Neptune aspect. It's probably better not to attempt to pin someone or something down at the moment, it may only be a lesson in frustration. You are psychically very sensitive, and you may be absorbing too many emotions from the people around you to the point of overload. Withdrawing just a little or enjoying quiet time might be beneficial now. Capricorn. You may be quite happy working in the background in some manner much of the day, dear Capricorn. Later today, however, the moon heads into your sign for a couple of days, and a new cycle begins. Today's Mars-Neptune transit can bring on some confusing impulses. With this influence, there is a tendency to be secretive or even passive-aggressive. You can be pretty sensitive to imbalances in your environment and interactions. Watch for foggy thinking, and allow extra time to complete regular tasks. If what you're doing does not align well with your ideals, there can be a sense of dissatisfaction. Think about creative ways to make changes to what you're doing or how you're doing it. It's not something you can change in only a day, but you can get started. Aquarius. Today's energies are generally good for communicating and connecting with ease, dear Aquarius. You may be dealing with someone who is passive-aggressive or roundabout in their dealings with you, however, due to a Mars-Neptune aspect. This influence might instead point to a feeling of being deceived or let down. Some deflation is possible before you fill up with new inspiration. You may realize that how you've been approaching a person or situation is not serving you well any longer. Passivity or evasiveness can cause some problems. If matters are not spelled out, try not to read too much into the situation since today's energies are murky. Nevertheless, this can be a great day for getting in touch with your more spiritual needs or your desire to be soothed, entertained, and comforted. Aim to find something that takes you away from reality for a short spell and leaves you feeling refreshed. Pisces. It may not be an especially energetic day, but it's strong for observation, dear Pisces. A Mars-Neptune aspect can blur things a little, perhaps leaving you questioning your inspiration levels temporarily. It could be tempting to take a roundabout or convoluted route to satisfying your desires. Energy levels can be up and down as you seesaw between wanting to take action and a feeling that you may not be ready for it. It can also be quite tricky to stick to the routine, as motivation seems lacking temporarily. Be aboveboard in all of your dealings now, and be clear, straightforward, and unambiguous if you must deal with practical matters. Watch for people who may be trying to deceive you. You are a little more sensitive to your environment, so it's probably best to take it easy and boost up your resistance. In truth, some deflation can mean you fill up with fresh inspiration.